first chapter of microeconomics of class 11, that is Introduction to Microeconomics. Before studying microeconomics, first of all, let's understand what is the meaning of economy. Economy is a place where human beings earn their livelihood. Okay, wherever they work, like for an example, when a doctor goes to hospital, an industrial goes to industry, a worker goes to his factory, and whatever the production process they are doing by which they are earning money, it is a part of economy. And the study of economy is known as economics. Economics is the study of economics, or all those activities all those economic activities by which we can earn money. It is a part of economics. And now the next topic is choices and scarcity. Choices and scarcity is the essence of economics. Like, why do we study economics? We study economics because we know that our wants are unlimited. Okay, our means are limited, and every choice have an alternative resource. So for understanding economics, it is very important to understand choices and scarcity. As we all know that we have unlimited wants and we have limited resources. As we have unlimited wants and we have limited resources, so we have to make choices. We have to make choices. For an example, like let us suppose you have 100 rupees. For that 100 rupees, you can buy a chocolate, you can go and buy a burger, you can go and buy a pizza, you can go and buy something by which you can fulfill the needs of yourself. So again, you have here the choices, but you know the resources, the means is limited. That is, you have only 100 rupees, and from that 100 rupees, you have alternative choices. What is scarcity? Scarcity means we can say किसी भी चीज की कमी होने को हम scarcity कहते हैं. यहाँ पर अगर हम बात करें तो हमारे पास जो means है, जो resources, उनकी हमारे पास क्या है? कमी. And with the help of economics, what we can do? We can use these resources in best possible way, from which we can attain maximum satisfaction. So is it clear? Economics is a study, or economics is a science of social science which deals with all those economic activities, and this economic activities helps to earn, or we can say get maximum satisfaction by the available resources whatever we have. So now, after understanding economy and economics, let's understand what is micro and macroeconomics. Microeconomics. Okay, we'll be reading microeconomics in class 11 and macroeconomics we'll be reading in class 12. So first, micro. Micro, from the name itself, we can understand that micro means small. It means small. Microeconomics, here in this microeconomics, we'll be reading about economics as an individual, on a personal level. We'll be reading economics on a personal level. For example, we can say we will be reading about an individual industry, an individual producer, an individual consumer. All those things we will be reading on a very small level. Here in microeconomics, we read about economics on a small level, on an individual level. But when we talk about macroeconomics, here we study economics as a whole. When we read about all the producer in an economy, then it is a part of macroeconomics. All the consumers in an economy, it is a part of macroeconomics. Or we can say the whole country. Here is, when we study about the whole country, it is macroeconomics. Okay, so we can say, for example, let's talk about the industry here in Ratlam. Let us talk about a Kataria factory which is there in Ratlam. Okay, so when we only study about Kataria factory here in Ratlam, it is a part of microeconomics. But when we study about all the factories which are there in Ratlam, it is a part of macroeconomics. So microeconomics is studying economics on a small level, at an individual level. Macroeconomics here means studying as a whole, about all the industries, about all the producers, consumers which are present in our country. Now our next topic is positive economics and normative economics. Positive economics is those economics which is based on the assumptions of past, future and present. Okay, it tells about how a condition is, what it is, what it will be, and how it would be. Okay, here when we talk about normative economics, it is what ought to be. It is based on opinions and value judgment. When we talk about positive economics is based on facts and figures. When normative economics is based on opinions and judgment. Positive economics are the statements which can be verified, as the statements are based on facts and figures. But here normative economics cannot be verified because the statements are based on personal opinion. When we talk about positive economics, the results which comes from positive economics can be considered. Why it can be considered? Because it is based on facts and figures. But here the normative economics, whatever the facts and figures we are telling, that cannot be considered, as it is based on personal opinion. Whenever there is a positive economics, we don't have any, we can say, disputes or fights, but when we say about any normative economics, it can lead to dispute, as it is again totally based on normative economics. It tells how a particular thing is, it tells how a particular thing should be. For example, let's talk about you only. When we talk about yourself, as we can say how much percent you can score in your next class based on your previous result. For example, a student who scored 70% in class 6, okay, 74% or 72% in class 7, definitely he will be scoring 75 or 80% in class 8. According to her, he will be scoring 90%. But that 90%, what he will be scoring is not possible. Again, it is totally based on personal opinions and judgment. So here again, in normative economics, the judgment which is given is based on opinions, not on facts and figures. So this is the major difference between positive and normative economics. It tells how a particular thing is, it tells how a particular thing should be. Now the last topic of this chapter is types of economy. So as we know, there are three types of economy. The first type of economy is centrally planned economy. Okay, we can also say it's controlled economy. Centrally planned economy is also known as socialist economy. Here, all the things whichever is there in a country is controlled by government. All the things, all the industries, whatever the resources in a country is there is owned by government. Here, everything is controlled by government, everything is equal. According to them, whatever the resources a country should have, it should be divided among the people equally. Okay. Then the second type of economy is market economy, also known as free economy. Here, every person is free. Whatever they want to produce, they can produce. Okay. Here, private ownership is allowed. Here, the individuals can buy whatever thing they want to buy. They can produce anything. They can determine the price of a particular thing by their own. And the last is mixed economy. Mixed economy have features of both market and controlled economy. Okay, so first let's talk about the centrally planned economy. In centrally planned economy, everything is owned by government. All the resources are divided equally. All the resources are divided equally among the people. Okay, the main aim of controlled economy, or we can say socialist economy or centrally planned economy, is to have maximum welfare of the people. Okay, here whatever the prices of a commodity, it is determined by government. Okay, and the main aim is not to earn profit, the main aim is maximum social welfare. Okay, then in market economy, the main aim of the producer is to earn maximum profit. Okay, here the price is determined by their own self, the market forces, that is demand and supply. And when we talk about last, our mixed economy. Mixed economy ke andar, it's like the prices are determined by government and prices are also determined by market forces. Here some parts of the economy is reserved for government and some parts are reserved for private individuals. Whatever they want to buy, they can buy. Whatever they want to start, they can start. For example, here in mixed economy, railways, as we know, it is very important for the movement of people. Okay, so here railway is a part of government. Government have owned that railway. Okay, and government determines the prices, the fares and everything. But when we talk about the steel, cloth, so here it is not an it is not an urgent need. So here it is a part of, or it is in the hand of private individual. They can determine the price by their own. Okay, and last not the least, we can say the centrally planned economy was first started in Russia, USSR, and the socialist economy was started in Russia, USSR. Then capitalist economy, that is free economy, was started in USA, and mixed economy. Mixed economy was started first in France in 1948. India also uses. In India, we also have mixed economy. Here also some parts of the we can say economy is reserved for government and some for private individual. So we have read all the things or different aspects of our first chapter, that is introduction to microeconomics. In our next lecture we will be reading about the second chapter.